So then, welcome to the stream. Right, now today hopefully we're not going to have any issues with the sim and the plane. I'm hoping, right? So the first thing we're going to check. So here's the plane. We're going to be flying the Connie. Hopefully this is the plan. We're going to be flying from Dublin all the way down to France, which is just on Lannion, which I don't know where that is. I know it's obviously France, but there we go. That's where we're going. I'm going to head straight over here. We're going to look at trying to get to 20,000 feet. So yeah, so that's the plan. That's the plan. Right, so my next thing I need to check when I jump on in the plane is we need to check first of all my controls, because I've been having issues with my controls. So they're independent, which is good. Perfect. And we've got the button working. That's perfect. That is exactly how I want it. Right. The next thing, now because I'm going to be lazy, we are going to do career, so that's going to be good. You can't see. Can you see all that? Yeah, you can. Let's just move that over into the middle anyway. Let's just move it up a bit. Let's move it to there. So we are going to have the career mode on, and I am going to use the live engineer only because I'm not in the mood to do the whole full works today. I'm happy just chilling out tonight if we can get it working. The next thing I want to have a look at. Hi Ian, evening mate. Hopefully everything goes okay today. We're going to see. We're going to see. I'm just navigating to some charts, a checklist specifically that I like to use. Right, so if I'll just drag that onto there. This here, I'm just going to do a display capture because this here is a checklist that I normally use for it when I don't use the engineer. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just run through this part, the pre-flight. Let me just, but I'm going to miss out that I think the engineer is going to do. Let me just, actually we're not going to do all this because the engineer does a lot of this. Yeah, the engineer does all of this. Heater yet? Yeah, the engineer does all this, right? So we don't need to worry about that. So we jump straight in at engine start. I know how to engine start, so that's not a problem. But I'm going to keep this to one side. Let me just have a look at something. Okay, so that's going to there, straight up here, down to there. I know how to do that. And then what we'll do is we'll look at everything from engine start down, and then we'll use this as a bit of a reference just to go. I know because I know how to engine start, it's not too big of a deal. But we are going to use the engineer. The other thing we need to look at is the shift 4, right? So we don't want to do the payload just yet because we haven't got the engines running. And what that means is if it's too cold or too hot in the cabin, the passengers will start moaning. So we don't want to do that just yet. We do want to check that the service and the oil and the de-icer, CO2, they're all topped up, which they are. I've not done any fuel calculations, don't really want to. As I say, I'm having a bit of a chill out session. We're going to relax. We've got beers again. I've got a spare beer. I've got incense going. Oh yeah, it's good. Chill out stream, right? As long as the sim doesn't crash. So, and tonight it's crashed. P3D version 5 has crashed probably about the past 3-4 streams. Very annoying. Not being able to do a full flight. Really annoying. So tonight, fingers crossed everyone, it's going to happen. So I think because we're going quite far, I think we should do a medium. We don't need to go heavy because we're not going really far. Light would probably do it, but we'll go medium. Alright. So we'll click the medium. Oh, I thought that was the medium. Was that medium? No, light's 35%. Medium? How come medium doesn't do anything? Ah, look at that. Anyway, we'll go medium, right? That should give us plenty of fuel. That was weird. I clicked medium, didn't actually load the fuel. But we're fuel loaded now, right? Yo, Joers in the house. Cheers, Joers. Cheers. Right, I'm really in the faith. I've got my A2A t-shirt on. We're gonna go for it, right? So let's get this thing going. I've already kind of loaded the plan because we know where we're going. Right, career mode on. We are gonna activate the Mr. Engineer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, setting up the systems.
Now he'll go and do his thing. I do normally do this myself, as I say. I'm having a chill out stream tonight. I don't want to do it. I can't be bothered to do it. Okay. The only thing we need to do is maybe set on the passenger lights and the seatbelt. So no smoking and seatbelts. Also the windshield heater, because sometimes the windshield all the windows get misted up. So we'll leave that on. And then we'll do the rest in a moment. We'll turn the autopilot on now. Unfortunately, the GTN 650 has not been updated for version 5.1. So, unfortunately, we've got default. But it'll do the job for tonight because we're just chilling out. Right. I'll try and do I'll try and do everything as per the checklist.
All systems are set.
There we go. So all systems are set, right? Which is good. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to start the engines, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put the beacon light on. I also put the wing and tail lights on for good measure, right? Now we've got to jump into the back seat. And what we're going to do is we're going to crack the throttles, both of them. Now these are independent, right? Which is what I tried to do the previous stream, but for some reason it was messing up. And the reason why that was I use a hub to plug in all my USB controllers. And I plugged in my Xbox controller, and for some reason it was interfering. And if I unplug it, it works. So I've just kept it as unplugged. The other thing worth noting here is, what was the other thing? Damn it, I forgot. There was something else, I can't remember. It'll come back to me. Right, so now we don't need to worry about any of this if you've got the engineer going. We've also got the pressurization panel here with the air conditioning. We don't need to worry about that, right? Over here we've got the avionics master switch, which we don't need to worry about that because he's already turned it on. Obviously over there we've got the GNS unit. And all these just give you the temperatures which the flight engineer is going to control. So we don't need to worry about any of this. To start the engines though, what we do need to do, hi Phil, welcome aboard. This doesn't really do anything, but we will do it anyway. So the first engine is we want number 3, okay? And the way I tend to do this, crack the throttles and give inertia number 3, right? You can't see my mouse, but number 3 there. And what you want to do is you want to use the timer that's, oh, do you know what? This might be a bit better if let me capture cursor. Any better? There we go. So what we do, we give it inertia, we're looking for the time. When it gets to about 15 seconds or more, flick number 3 up and then give it some prime, right? Count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flick it down. then flick that back. There we go. And then what you want to do is you want to flick the starter switch, put that to 3, and then engage it.
3 turning.
I've kind of done that a bit back to front, but it might still work. Come on. You've got to give it enough time, because sometimes it fires up really really late, like that. There you go. Mixture
Oil
4.
pressure okay.
And then you want to make sure that you're doing about 1,200 RPMs, or around there. Anywhere above 1,000 is good. Now my throttles are quite twitchy, so that'll do. So then we want number 4. So what I'll explain this in a moment. Number 4, we inertia. What's the timer? So we've got 5, 10, 15, around about there. In between there we've got the primer on. Okay, here we go. Right, so what we'll do, we'll flick mixture forward, prime on 4, give it 5 seconds, or thereabouts. 4 on back, and then engage 4.
Turning 4.
Let it turn a couple of times. Flick the magnetos on, and that should fire. Should. Come on. There we go. Mixture 4.
Oil pressure is rising.
Right, so at this point, if you was the engineer, you'd be looking at this for your temperatures. All these like your cal flaps and your oil cooler flaps and stuff. You don't need to worry about that today. So what we've done there is, if we go back to the, let's get to the outside view, right? As you can see, we've started the right engines, the right hand engines, okay? And the reason why is because the passengers, just get around my, passengers get loaded on the left hand side, so you don't want the passengers going while the engines are going, right? But you also need power. You need to be able to have the air conditioning unit powered, to which the engines will do, and that's the reason why you do that. So at this point we can now start loading. So we're going to go for a medium.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? We are about to start boarding the aircraft. Please report to the gate.
Ground crew to captain. Loading cargo.
And then outside we'll see the stairs coming in. We'll also see some stairs going underneath where they can start loading the cargo. And I think this one here is called Betty. So as you can see, the chrome in version 5.1, chrome now is back on board. So we've got nice chrome wings here, painted fronts, and the paint on the fuselage obviously. I actually think these are painted. It's just the I mean chromed. It's just the paint that's not. So there we go. And now we just got to wait. So we wait for the plane all to load up, and that is that. Right, so we're just waiting for that to load. But you can click the real-time load, and what that'll do is it'll change it to fast load, and then this will load really fast. But I quite like it just chilling out. As I say, I'm on a chill out stream. I've got the beer, I've got the incense. Yeah, I'm just relaxed. We've got the engineer doing his thing. It's brilliant. Right, now then, the other thing that I can show you is when we start getting going, the shift 2 will show you some typical power settings. Thanks for the follow, Lance Missile. Lance Missile, yeah. Cheers, thank you. So you can use these typical ones just for if if that's what you want to do. But what you can do is I've got some other items. Let's just rotate that for a minute. There we go. So if I do a display capture, for instance, right, I've actually got this out of a real manual, and it gives you the takeoff distance required. So you've got your weight, and then how far you need to, whether it's hard surface, soft surface, or a turf, or a wet turf even. And then it gives you the wind heading and how many miles per hour that is. And then basically what you do is say we was at like sea level or 3,000 feet depending on the runway. So this is the runway height. So we're at sea level, say. Say we was at 93. The ground run would be, depend on the wind, 2,550. So it's quite useful just to have a look at the kind of takeoff distances. The other part is climb data, so this one's interesting. So if you're 93,000, which we can have a look at in a minute, but if we're 93,000, the best indicated airspeed of climb is that. So I tend to just go for this one anyway, because you're pretty much safe throughout. And what you can do is just look at.
We're all buttoned up here, and everyone is on board.
Oh, everyone's on board now, so we need to start doing our other thing. We'll come back to this because we need to start dealing with engines. So we're all buttoned up. So what we need to do now is make sure that the other throttles are tracked.
My name is Betty, and I'm your head stewardess.
What we'll do, we now need to do engines 2. So engines 2, inertia on 2. Remember, we're watching the timer. We get around about 5, 10, 15, anywhere around about there.
Also, smoking is only permitted when the no smoking sign is installed. Please stay in your seats unless you need to.
Then we're going to flick that on.
I or any of the flight attendants.
Prime 2 for 5 seconds roughly.
In the event of a water landing, there are life jackets throughout the cabin. Put it on, place it over your head, grip on the waistband,
and then engage 2.
you need to exit the airplane. There are 8 emergency
Yeah, you turn a couple of times so you can hear it.
You're all here to ensure you have an enjoyable flight.
And then flick it on 2.
Welcome aboard to the clearest skies.
Hopefully it starts.
We're ready to roll.
Come on, 2. Right, 2 has. Oh, 2 did just at the last minute.
Pressure is okay. Generator is
I didn't think 2 was going to start then. I almost gave up on it. So 1,200 roughly is what you're looking for. Right. So as you can see, engine 3 and 4, the temperatures are perfect. They're ready to roll. So engine number 1. So let's go. Engine 1. Inertia. Even when you don't use the flight engineer though, it's not that complicated, in all honesty. Number 1, prime 1. Engage 1.
turning 1.
Hopefully we get a full 4 start without any issues whatsoever, which is very rare because it normally doesn't want to start one of the engines, but we did it.
Lower pressure okay.
Trust me, that doesn't happen normally.
Good afternoon, everyone, from the flight deck. It's great to have all of you flying with us today. It's nice weather for flying, so relax and enjoy your flight. Our stewardesses are on board to serve you and make your flight enjoyable. Sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and enjoy the flight.
So that was good. So we've got, and by the looks of it, it looks like the payload is that. Oh, there we go. Total weight, sorry, 78,500, 80,000. So yeah. Right. So if I go back to my display capture, go back to the image that I was looking at, we've got about 80,000. Yeah, it's in between there, but we'll just go for the 80 just for the fun of it. So we're looking at takeoff distance 80. I don't know what the winds are, but we'll just go for no wind. So we are looking around about that distance, but we know we've got that doubling anyway. So we're looking more at the climb data. So we can look at 80. We can look at when we start going up to 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 feet. But yeah. And then we can start looking at the best rate of climb and take it from there. So we could climb 1,600, almost 1,700 feet per minute. But I tend to just go for the 129. We might go somewhere in between there today when we start our climb out. Right, so we've started the engines. Mixture is all good. Throttles are above 1,000 RPM. Doors are closed. Trims 5 nose up. Right, this is before taxi. So now this is weird because I'm not sure. I've got these back to front. I don't know which way's up. Trim up is that way. Okay, so 5 degrees nose up is what you want. I've got these back to front. That's down and that's up. So yeah, we've got these back to front. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Flaps before taxi. We're going to do. Well, that's weird. It says before taxi flaps in takeoff mode, which they're not. They're not going to be. Controls. Just make sure the controls are working, which they are. Right. The other thing that doesn't happen. The emergency brake system. So over here you will see, if only the camera would move a little bit faster. You've got normal brake pressure and emergency brake pressure. Now we've got pressure on the normal. We need pressure on the emergency. And the emergency brake, you can charge that by pressing that button down here, and then you'll see that rise. And once that's risen into the green, we can then turn that switch back over. There's certain things that the engineer doesn't do, and there's certain things that they do. So I said do. I said do. Right. So that's just coming into the green now, which we're okay. I'll flick that switch in any second now. A little bit more. What's our next one? While we're waiting for that to charge, we'll have a look. So nose light. That's about it. Well, then we can start our taxi. So, okay, so we're good there. Flick that, off we go over there. Right. So, let's start our pushback. So, here we are. Look. Now, unfortunately, as you probably noticed, I haven't got any weather in the bottom right hand corner of the stream. And the reason being is, once again, because of the update of P3D version 5.1, Active Sky hasn't been updated yet. So therefore, obviously, I'm not running Active Sky, so I'm doing fair weather just for the fun of it. So we're just going to have to kind of make it up as we go along. I think the runway we kind of want to go for is maybe this big fat long one just down here, just because it's nice and close. We could go and taxi all the way down there, and we'll take it from there. So push back. Now the one thing that I've not done, and I'm wondering if anyone can help me on this one. Actually, I can't remember where the gear lever is, and I really would like to know where the gear lever is. And I don't have tooltips on, so that's no good. Can anybody point me in the right direction to the gear lever? I can obviously press G, which would lift the gears anyway, but I'm just curious. It's the only lever that I always lose in this plane. I don't know whether it's that red one there. Anybody out there? While I'm waiting, I'm going to put my nose light on because I'm just about to taxi. Pitot heat can go on. And that will do for now. Let's see if I can find the... I've got another... It literally is just the gear lever that I'm looking for. So... let's have a look. If anyone knows where the gear lever is, please feel free to shout. Pilot panels. Tell you what, let's see if I can find it first. Gear. Can't find it. Why can't I find the bloody gear lever? Anyway, we're going to cheat. We're going to do. Let me have a look at. See if I can find. Oh, hold up! I've got the manual here. Let's have a look at the manual. Right, let's go full display capture because this is worthy of a look. If you've never looked at an A2A manual, you kind of get this whole 2-page thing. You get some history, you get all sorts of good information about where it originated from, how it was built and all that. It's really cool. Different variations, quite a lot on this one in terms of what's what. You get some specifications as well, and then you can go delve into quick start guide in terms of installation. Tells you about the persistence, how the engine works, what you need to look out for, angle of attack, caps of the ship, what that means in terms of the pilot. A few of the shift panels, they're quite useful. Now this is where I'm kind of looking for landing gear, blah blah blah. So on here, don't get anything. What's 21? It is the freaking landing gear. I knew it all along, but I just completely didn't think anything of it. Right, I knew that all along. That bloody red lever there's the landing gear. Anyway, and the other thing I didn't do was turn on my head tracking, so we'll try and turn on Mr. Head Tracking. There we go. Perfect, everything's going well today. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to shift and P. Let's just check our temperatures. Temperatures are all in the green, so you can see that by this here. Perfect. Back to that. Shift and P, because we're just going to put some push back in. And take the parking brake off. Oh yeah, we are moving. this is where it gets fun, because I've got the throttles on two different sides. It means you can use the engines to turn more. So the front wheel, let's just stop it there. The front wheel, let's get it quick. The front wheel is on like a free caster, so if you turn, it will turn, but it only turns so much. You can use this wheel to turn it even more, but you don't have to, right? It's not necessary. I don't do it particularly, because what I do is I use, say if I wanted to turn left, I'd give a bit more beans on the right engines, and I'd also give it some rudder as well. And what you've got to kind of remember is to keep them RPMs above 1000. Okay, off we go. We're going to be pretty much going straight out as well, which is really cool. Right, we're going to kind of cut the corner a little bit, because oh no, we're not. No, we don't need to do that. No, we will cut the corner because there was no one there anyway. Look. And the yellow line is just there, so we're good. Now the interesting thing about this is when we get to 15,000 feet, it's gonna wanna do the whole. It's got superchargers, right? And it's gonna want to do the superchargers thing. I don't know how to do the superchargers thing, so that's gonna be interesting. Let me see if I can find it above. So. No, I've done it when I've been the engineer, but I've not done it when I've not been the engineer. So the interesting thing will be when we, if the engineer spots that we've gone above 15,000 feet, and what that means, and I think all we have to do is reduce the manifold pressure. What I might do is, during our climb, I might end up just having a look at oh, okay, reduce the manifold. I didn't know if it was reduce the RPMs. I was going to have a look at the manual, because it's been a while since I've gone above 15,000 feet in this beast. Right, so what we're going to do here, we're just going to gently push the brakes, keep them RPMs above 1,000, and we're going to do landing flaps, so takeoff flaps, sorry. We're not doing it.
Flaps.
We're not going to do a run up or anything like that.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff.
What we are going to do is we are going to do landing lights, extend. We're going to do strobe lights now. Pitot heat is on. Cowl flaps we don't need to worry about. Propeller max RPM, auxiliary fuel pumps don't really worry about. So there's a lot of stuff on the checklist that we don't need to worry about. Cool. So we are now going to head out. We're going to go to France. Vive la France! And drink some beer. Even though I'm drinking Italian beer. Should have gone to Italy. EA, they've not fixed EA. What's EA? What's EA? Right. Always roll a little bit forward. Right. Pump them brakes a little bit. True Sky. No, they did bits. So I think what I found is they've now got the chrome working fine, but the flickering and stuff is not quite right. Yeah, they've still got a way to go, and it's a shame because I was expecting a lot more, but it is what it is. Right, so now what we've got to do is I like to move this to be in the direction that we are heading. Okay, just like that. And then this is where I'm not great, but we're going to head out, and this is it. So we hold the brakes, do some power action.
We're rolling.
We are rolling now. The lift-off speed depends on the takeoff speed. Sorry, it depends on the weight of the aircraft. But what we're going to do is we're going to do it to 100. Do a pullback if we get to 100.
80.
Back now.
Rotate.
I don't know what them massive like black things are in the distance, but right. So what we're doing, we can trim up a little bit, and we can now look at the performance table that I had up before. Let's have a look at that. So we've got climb data 80,000, so 16, probably about 150, 1290 is some massive chimneys. Normally that is a hook, so oh, gears up. We almost forgot the gears, people. There we go. Gears up. We need to reduce the RPMs, so what we'll do is we'll reduce the manifold pressure to about 32. Reduce the RPMs to 23. Thereabouts, that'll do. Perfect. Right.
Pressurization set.
Now what we're going to do is we're just going to track the landing lights, but we'll keep the nose light on. The baby's crying already. That's not fun. That's not fun, is it? That means we're climbing too fast, but I never. Do you know what? I never get that when I'm doing the pressurization stuff. When I'm doing the engineer job, I never get that. The other thing we need to do is flaps up, so that would help.
Flaps up.
Speed and stuff. Yeah, blame the engineer. Stuff it. It's not me climbing at 1,500 or whatever. Well, I wasn't even doing it. I was climbing about 6,000 feet. 600 feet, sorry. Oh. That'll do. Keep that nice and level. Right. And now you can just flick on these things. And then hopefully I don't know why it's going bouncy up and down, but that should have. Whoa! What is it doing, man? Sort itself out. There we go. Let's let it calm itself down. Right, now what we've got to do is we've got to keep the manifold pressure at 32 or thereabouts. Going up 1,000 feet per minute. So. Yeah, there we go. Look at them massive chimneys. I mean, is that real? Is that realistic? I've never seen chimneys that tall, but See you later, Dublin. There we go. Look at their massive chimneys. Right, so we're climbing. When we get up to quite a higher altitude, what we'll do is we'll start taking off the passenger seatbelt signs and stuff. Do that. Cool. So here we go. The autopilot's pretty cool. You use this one over here to like go up and down, and it's best like you can use this little bit here, which tells you whether you're going up or down. To be fair, I'll just use the vertical speed indicator most of the time, and I'll just tweak this how I want it. Likewise with the heading indicator, you can match it up with those, and then move the top part as well, but I kind of just look at the compass and then look at the heading indicator, which is the same as the compass, and then I'll just kind of head towards that. So yeah, so that's that. Now, but as you can see, as we get higher, we lose manifold pressure, so we need to go up. Engineer should be doing his job, hopefully. So the cruise altitude we're going to today, let's have a look. We're hopefully going to 20,000.
Just a little update from the flight deck. We're currently climbing to our cruise altitude. This aircraft isn't just beautiful to look at, but it flies that way too. Its strong engines can carry us to higher altitudes where we can fly fast and through nice smooth air.
Nice smooth air. Yes, this is it. A screenshot. I might get better screenshots later on, but it's best to take one just in case I forget. And that's it, we're on the move. Keep that manifold pressure up. Oh, excuse me. Had a bit of a choke. What's going on? What is going on? So, if we think about our climb data, apparently in between at 10,000 feet, so in between 5,000 feet, we should be going at 1,500 rate of climb at a speed of 158 miles per hour, because that is that in miles per hour? I can't remember whether that's in miles per hour. Let's just have a we'll get there in a minute. I'm sure it is. Is it in knots? No, that's in knots. Sorry, that's in knots. So actually that's in knots, so we're 137 knots at 1,500 feet. Right. So we're kind of doing almost 130 knots, and we're only doing 1,000 feet per minute, so that's a no-go, isn't it? 10,000 feet, we're looking at 130 knots and 1,000 feet, so actually it's more as though we're going to 10,000 feet, so. But anyway, we'll keep flying. So how's everyone been anyway? How's everyone been? You know, today it's a dreaded Monday. We've had some rubbish news that we're going to have lockdown again. How's everyone been? I'm quite cool. I've got beer. I'm chilling, flying the Connie. It's not crashed yet, which is good. Just got up the manifold pressure a little bit. Oops. There we go. I've got a spare beer on the way. Oh. That's it. That's good stuff. Right, we're hitting some kind of turbulence now, so we've kind of gone up a crazy amount. I don't know why, but we'll just knock that autopilot down a touch. I don't know why it's done that for. It just randomly just shot up. That was interesting. Oh, now it's randomly shooting down again. Oh, there we go. We've got some turbulence. P3 just okay. What's that for? Is that for P3D or is that for FS? P314. I've not seen that. I've not seen that yet. Oh. So I'm kind of moving away from P3D. You know, if I'm gonna go on P3D, it's got to stick with sorry about that. That's what this is really irritating my head. I've really got to just stick with A2A, I think, with P3D, but so let's just have a look at that. So we'll head that way. Bit more manifold. There we go. We've just gone over 10,000 feet now, so that's good. Let's say I don't normally fly the Constellation. We'll do is we'll flick off that nose light now, because we don't need that. Everything else can stay on. How far away are we? 273 nautical miles. 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I might not get there in time, you know. I might have to stop halfway through. I'll try not to stop, but at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock's like my time, you know, but we'll see. Anyone know about it? They are going to Lance. They are going to do some add-ons for FS 2020. The first add-on is not going to be a conversion. It's going to be a full, brand new plane. It's going to be the Aero Star, and it looks fantastic. However, they're still kind of being delayed with Mr. Microsoft. Giving them a decent SDK to work from, so it's all slow progress at the moment for many of the more custom plane developers. The scenery you can kind of get away with. If you use default flight models like the Tornadoes, they can get away with it. Custom like the A2As, nah, you need a decent SDK. I think the plan of action after the Aerostar is they will look to convert their existing models and stuff to be FS compatible, but that is quite a long way off yet, as far as my understanding goes. 12,000 feet, 12,500 feet, we are flying people. Now this is interesting. This is where Ian reckons that we might have to reduce the manifold pressure to get the superchargers blowing. We'll see, it'd be good. Because I normally do this myself. When I get to 15 feet, it's not normally 13, but when I get to 15,000 feet, that's where I would have normally done it. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know whether it gives you a prompt or something to flick it, but
Captain,
I am ready to engage the high
There you
blowers, so we
there
do
you
need to
go.
reduce our throttles.
Nice. So it tells you to reduce throttles as well. So
Engaging high blowers.
okay, so that's good. Look at that, winning, absolutely winning. So they're engaged. Now we can go back up to 32. Yeah, we are flying, peeps. Cooking on gas. We're kind of going away from the line, but we'll just fix that with a little bit of right turn. I bought a Connie and FS Connie and been using freeware for expat. I'd love to buy the A2A Connie, but I'll have to buy. Yeah, I mean, P3D version 5, it performs better, it looks a little bit better, but it's still in work in progress, so you can't see it at the moment. Let me see if I can see it at the moment. Now, you can't see anything at the moment, but there's definitely, sometimes there's artifacts around around airports and things, and trees. You can see like dark patches. P3D version 4 was more stable. It had more releases, but unfortunately it didn't look as nice, and it doesn't. Well, for me, it didn't perform as well. So yeah. But yeah, you won't get a better Connie than the one that's in, you know, done by A2A. No, not a chance. Yeah, never. Let's just jump over to the engineer panel. Now, we're not doing the engineer panel today, which is okay. We could probably, I don't know if we did the mixture, whether the engineer would flick it back. Normally I'd wait till cruise anyway, so we'll leave that for when we are in cruise, and then he might flick it back to lean. But at the minute it's on auto rich. And what the engineer's doing is looking at this stuff here, and he's going, oh, is the engine's too hot? Open the cowl flaps, which are, where are they? Oh, where are they? They're oil coolers, the cowl flaps, there they are. And that's that, and you can look at some of this stuff as well, the oil and all this. But yeah, I mean, I tend to just, when I'm flying, I tend to just look at this, and then I mess around with the cowl flaps. But I'm not going to, obviously I'm not doing it today. And you can turn that as well, just to make sure that we are generating volts from each engine, and what the battery's doing, and what the main's doing. So I'll leave it on main. Let's just see if I can, there we go. So the cabin temperature needs to be in set temperature, so that the passengers, the virtual passengers, are comfortable, and that's what that's doing. And you can set your heater up and all that. This stuff over here is the altitude pressure, cabin pressure. So it kind of gives you the guide down here. So anything above 10,000, you need to set it to 1,000. So the rate of change, I think, is 1,000. I believe. But yeah, so it's quite good. I say it's been a long time since I've flown it, and I wanted to have a relaxing flight rather than a stressful, let's sort out cowl flaps and stuff flight. So I haven't done that today. I'm just going to straighten up a little bit. If you want to look at this, and 161 is what we can be looking at. And that'll take us pretty much straight to where we need to be. Just a couple more notches. Let's see where we end up. Just click that again. Let's just have a look. 3, 2 will be coming soon. Just slowly moving this over so we can get it tracking. There we go, 161. Now hopefully that'll keep us there. It's got quite an old autopilot here. What we can do is I'll just go down. I can give you a bit of a show on that one. So what you got is you've got these things here. Oh, my head moves the camera, apologies on that. But these are how fast the autopilot responds to deviations, right? So you can basically move it faster, but it makes it a bit more uncomfortable for the passengers. I'll just kind of keep those set. What we can do there is this one is more where you're heading and what direction you want to head. You can use this to move that. It's a bit like a heading hold, and this is more your vertical speed, which is there, and that's if you want to turn. So if you want to go into a fixed turn, you can do that, which obviously I don't want to do that. So yeah, so it's quite good. But what you can do is you can set it so that you have like a classic autopilot. And before I worked out how to work that, the 3 levers are just here, and you turn them all on, and then it uses all that, right? Until you figure out how to use it. You know, it was quite. You can go on the shift 3, I think it is, and you can turn on that autopilot. You can change that to be something else. Obviously I'm flying, but there we go. Now, I don't know whether we're going to get to 22,000 feet or 20,000 feet. I can't remember what I put. 20,000 feet. I think I might want to. Try and connect to the simulator. Yeah. Okay. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I'm going to increase the rate of climb a little bit. Too much because we are losing speed when we do that. 90. So where are we going? We're going from, say, we're at 20,000 feet now, aren't we? Ah, okay. So we're at 20,000 feet almost. We're at 19.5. I've just realised that we've actually gone past 2, so we're almost at our cruise altitude. I completely did not think. I thought it was at 19,000. We're not. We're actually just come up to 20,000. So what we need to start doing is just decreasing the vertical rate of climb. Slightly, that'll do. Cruise power. Let's have a look at cruise power. Now in the manual there is actually, let me see if I can fish out the manual with its cruise power. Let's see if I can fish it out. As a matter of fact, I don't need to. It wasn't the manual. I'll show you what I do. Right, let's. Oh no, let's just level this plane out a little bit, and then if I could just get it level, I want to show you something. So let's do display capture. Okay, I think I'll just do a couple of more notches forward. There's a second page, cruise power settings. So we're at 20,000. So we want an RPM of 2080 and manifold pressure of 125. Right. So what we'll do is we'll reduce the RPM to about 2080, just to put there. and the manifold of 125. I'm not sure about the 125 business. Oh, let's have a look. We are climbing still, which is what we might do. Oh, that's interesting. 140, 29. Let's go 29. Thereabouts. That'll do us. Right. We're a little bit higher than 20,000 feet, but I'm just going to put the autopilot on, try and hold that 20,000 if we can. Now that we've got the correct RPMs and manifold, this should stabilise around a certain part. Right, let's just have a look at the distance. We've got 1 hour, which is 9:30, which is absolutely perfect, because that is exactly what I'm looking at. So this is it, we are now in cruise at 20,000 feet. Nice. Love it. Yeah, I did the update. So confusing everybody else. That's a good checklist. I've got that one. Yeah, it's a good checklist. It's a really good one when you want to start off doing the engineer panel. Right, so now we've settled to the cruise at 20,000. Because we're in the 1950s or 60s or whatever, we're going to basically let them smoke on the plane. That's what we're going to do. You smoke away, people. Now, yeah, I mean, I did the update just before the live stream. An interesting thing. Let's have a look at the checklist. So it's saying 29 manifold pressure, 2200 RPM. So yeah, we're okay. Oh, I know why that is. Let me just go back to. So where's that thing? Climb data. No, not that. Give me a second. I will find it. No. I pressed the wrong button, sorry guys, give me a minute. I'll show you something. So actually, if we go to display capture, this, so 20,000 feet, 2080, that's the RPM. BMEP, right, is the pressure, so 125. Now if we go back to the main scene, right, and we go back to, let me just trim this down a touch. We go to there.
Gentlemen. I have some coffee, tea, Sanka.
Coffee, tea, Sanka. Let's just get some drinks because we're on cruise. Around here, see this here? This is the pressure, right? And this is what that is referring to. So we want that to be
on your left.
125, right? So at the minute we're on
your right.
130.
Thanks, darling.
Thanks, darling. Right, so we've got the left engines on 125, and we've got the right engines just about 125. That's just going to be a slight deviation for one of the engines, but we're good. We're good. So that is actually perfect. RPMs. What did I say the RPMs were meant to be? 2080. So that's probably a little bit too less. Let's just increase that slightly. Whoops, I said slightly, not a lot. Down a bit more. There you go, that's 2080 roughly, right? Whoops. There we go. There we go, that's perfect. So that is set up now to be perfectly cruising. We're at 20,500, which isn't good because it keeps creeping up on me, but we're there. We're there. And that's it. We're moving. What I've always loved about my repaint on this plane is the blue prop tips. They don't come as standard. I love the blue prop tips, and also the wash on the glare shield. I love the wash, how I've done the wash on the glare shield. The only thing I don't like since installing V5 is the plane looks a lot more dirtier on the actual plane itself. It never used to look that bad, but
Just a little update from the flight deck. We're now settled back into a nice cruise. This is where the aircraft can spread its wings and fly high and fast. So sit back, relax, and feel free to explore this amazing airplane.
this amazing airplane. Just double check that the seatbelt signs are off, which they are. And that's it, boys. We're cruising. We're having beer. So has everyone subscribed to my YouTube channel? Because I'm kind of trying to get my subscribers up. Only for one reason. So years ago, when you create a YouTube channel, you could choose what the ending was. So you'd have youtube.com/UKJim, right, for instance, and that did exist until they cut my channel, right? But now what they do is they give you a really weird random combination of letters, right? And it's only when you get above, like, say 100 subscribers, they then let you have your own ending, right? So it's a bit like, really? And I was gutted because my old channel had loads of subscribers. Unfortunately, this one, my new one, doesn't. So, right, so what I'm looking at is, if I've got to go from 20,000 feet, this is quite useful as well. I wonder if it'll work for this. Let's go display capture. UKJim. So this is my flight tools, descent distance calculator. And this is where you can look at your speed. So let's just say we are going to descend at 180, 160, yeah, say 180 to 200 speed, yeah. So starting, we're going to do 20k. Ending, we'll end at 3,000. We'll do approximately 5,000 feet per minute. Ground speed in knots. Now that's not ground speed, but if we just say, let's say we're going to go down at 200, right? So the faster the better, right? And at 5 nautical miles out, we just want a bit of extra distance. So descent distance is going to be 118. So when we get to 118, that's when we need to start our descent, right? And this thing here, if you just put, like, say 200. It just gives you how much it is in miles per hour. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with this, it's my own. It also gives you the time in Zulu. So if you ever see my YouTube, not YouTube, my Twitter posts or my Discord posts, it says, "Oh, this time in Zulu." Come here and you can see what time it is, and then you can work it out for yourself. Jobs are good. I have, but there's not much on there yet. There's not much on where, mate? On my YouTube or on my website? There's not much on my website. I tend to just use it as a bit of a tool, rather than I don't update my website because it's not really dynamic. So all the pages are manually coded by myself, hand coded. So I don't really touch it that often. My YouTube, every time my streams go on live, so you can always catch up on YouTube. I think the main thing for me is more subscription, but also you can actually watch my live stream right now on YouTube. And the bonus of doing it on YouTube is you can actually select the quality. So if you're watching on a phone, you don't have to watch it on a phone at 1080p because your eyes don't really notice much difference. So you can actually watch it at 720p, and then you can't do that on Twitch, right? And that's one of the main reasons I did it, because Lewis, I think it was Lewis or Rob or someone, says, oh, you know, your 1080p stream on Twitch just keeps lagging because all my family's online doing their own thing, and yeah, so sort it out. So right, so we're flying. So I think I said 118, didn't I? So we've got a little cruise going. That's actually a better picture than the one that I did before, so I'm just gonna get that picture because that's going to be my lovely picture of when my YouTube video goes up. Right, so I've run out of that beer. Do I open up another one? Yeah, why not? Already had about 5 beers. It's Monday. It's Monday, so that's my excuse. I had a week annual leave. Went for a 9-hole round of golf with my son, and that was fun. He really enjoyed it. It was his first round of golf. He'd gone to the driving range, but he'd not played a round of golf. So we went and played a round of golf. Lewis doesn't like golf, so just never mention golf to Lewis. So he's like, oh, he starts going to troll mode. Oh, and he's like, I'll even go a bit further than that. I'll go, oh, that's Lewis. And then, so yeah, so and then what happened was he borrowed one of my. He's got his own driver, but he borrowed one of my irons, and he just held it a little bit further down and give it a good clock, and he loved it. So I'm hoping Christmas he asks for a golf set, because me and him in next summer, me and him will be going golf all the time. And it's quite good as well, because my wife, she was like, golf, really? And excuse me, let's just trim down a little bit, because we are a little bit high. I don't want to be that high. But yeah, my wife, she came to the driving range and had a go at the old driving range, and she loved that. And I think at one point she was even looking at getting some clubs for herself, so we could all go as a family, like do a 3-game and just go do a 9-hole. Yeah, really good. I do love it. Right then. So we're on the move. Now the interesting thing, let me show you that while we're in cruise. I'll show you this. So this checklist, we have these V speeds, and what you find is when you're in the Connie and you're flying down the runway, it'll only say rotate when it gets to 100, right? But actually, the V speed for me, because I was below 80,000, was 84. So, in theory, the co-pilot who shouts rotate Should have shouted it at 84, but I'm not gonna moan about that. I do tend to go up to 100 anyway, just to double check. The other thing we can look at is this. So the less than 3280 gallons, right? So let's just jump on board and let's have a look at how much fuel we actually have. Now I can't work that out actually, so that's gallons, okay? And we've got 2 tanks, 4 tanks, and you kind of work it out in gallons. And I'm crap at this, so I'm not even going to bother trying, but I'm hoping the engineer does its thing. We are blasting. We're blasting. So yeah, so that's that. Oh, I forgot I was in display mode. Apologies on that. The pressurisation is quite useful, but that's already indicated on the pressurisation panel, so you can see that anyway. But it's quite useful to have in here. You can mess around with this stuff, but you don't need to. I suppose if you got, I suppose actually we've not got less than, we have got less than. We started off with less than 3,208 gallons of fuel. I mean, this could be something I could look at in the future and have a look at what, how to read the fuel gauge of the Constellation. I've not had to look at that because I only do short flights. So, and as you say, you've got some typical power settings there that you could use, but obviously you've got your cruise power setting down here if you're going to go into cruise. But yeah, so when we start descending, we're going to start looking at descending at 2000 RPM with a manifold pressure of 20. And it doesn't give you the BMEP, but we can start looking at that in a short while. Yeah, we'll definitely have a look. Now we're going over. We definitely need to go and have a look at the distance because we're 165. I can't actually remember what it says on my tools. Anyway, let's just. I'll plug it back in and see what we got. $118 was the figure, but yeah, and that's if you go at 200 knots ground speed. So at the minute we don't know what the ground speed is. Normally I could probably work that out. I mean, you can work that out, but you can sometimes work that out on the GTN 650. You can find the ground speed, which is really useful. But for now, we'll just keep it at that. We'll just pretend that we're going to go at 118 nautical miles an hour or 120. We'll start our descent. That'll do. Now the other thing that I like about the Connie is, as you heard, when we got to cruise, we had the air stewardess. She came in and she came on board, and she says, "Oh, tea, Sanka, right? But if you was to schedule the flight at different times of the day, right, it will give you like breakfast. It can give you lunch. It can give you tea. Yeah, it's. I think I can't remember what I had. And also, if you're in career mode, which I am at the moment, it will also, when you load your passengers, you can get emergencies, and you have to land the plane as quickly as you can. You can get VIPs, so important passengers. Now, I've had a few of them. quite funny. I was doing a test flight the other day, and I had Johnny Cash come on board. I was like, yes, Johnny Cash. Unfortunately, we've not got any VIPs tonight. But yeah, so you get VIPs, and then when you land, now I'm okay at taking off, cruise and all that. Landing, I'm not too good at in this plane at all, unfortunately. But when you land, the better you land, you look at your comments at the end, and I'll show you that when we're finished. But you can look at your comments, and then it tells you what the passengers thought you were flying and what the airline thought you were flying. And a lot of the time as well, if you're really rubbish at at flying the Connie, you can, at the end of the flight, you can kind of get the air stewardess and the crew sometimes who are a bit sassy. And you're like, ah, okay, fair enough. Now we're just going over the southwest of the England, not English, but England. So we're just coming over there now. So just ahead of us is England there. England's there as well. Let's just look at some of the areas, because I'm not too familiar with the areas. Oh, Devon's down here somewhere. I'm rubbish at geography. So over there, for instance, we've got Heartland. What's EGIA? Let's have a look at EGIA. Gorrel Farm Airport. Wow. Now, Bude. Yeah, I'll show you actually. Let's go to little nav map. So we've got Bude. Now, I've been to Bude with my family before. I've never knew it was there. I recently went on holiday, and we ended up going to around in this area. Was it that area? Just have a look. Yeah, it was around that area. On Minehead. It's actually, I don't know if it was anywhere around there. Oh, I can't remember where it was. Oh no, there it is. There it is, Stogumber. And it sounds like it should be in Norway, but it's in England, and it's Stogumber. And we had to drive up to Minehead, because we went on the Minehead beach. So yeah, so that's that. Interesting story, bro. But yeah, we're just heading our way over. I thought I'd just show you that we're going over the English coast at the moment. Exactly, Ian. Birmingham is. I'm not even. I am from Birmingham, but I don't live in Birmingham. I live near the East Midlands. So I ventured out of Birmingham. I've got a horrible Brummie accent and all that, but yeah, I ventured out. This is a really nice screenshot. This is how I just took that screenshot. Yes, yes, please. Right, if you have the time, listen or read Robin Hold's book, Fighter Pilot. Am I going to get bored, Lance, or is it going to be good? Fighter Pilot. I haven't got a pen or a paper, but I'll try and jot this down, because that sounds like something that I'm interested in. So what is it? Let me have a look. Robin Hold's. Fighter Pilot. And you know what? That sounds like something that I would really be into. I've jotted that down because yeah, definitely have a look at that. So let's check the 134. slightly off the mark, but we're okay. We'll keep to this. We'll keep to this. There's old Blighty. Old Blighty. Now the good news, the absolute good news for the new P3D version 5.1, fair enough, it doesn't have Active Sky updated yet, but eventually that will come. It hasn't fixed the atmospheric true sky stuff, not quite. But what I did say is it fixed the chrome, right? Now on this plane, obviously I do have a bit of chrome. You can't really see it here, but I do have chrome wings. You can't see it, but whatever. But my Spitfire, absolutely, my Spitfire was so gutted when I brought it over to P3D version 5 and the chrome went missing and it just turned grey. And I was like, no, not my chrome Spitfire. So if you ever want to see it, just jump onto my Discord. I think there's just been a link that you can go to. I definitely recommend jumping on Discord. It's got so much good content. You can join my Discord server. You can also join the A2A Discord server, which is really good. There's lots of friendly people on there. I would definitely recommend the A2A Discord server to anybody. So yeah, so I mean, I'm just going to straighten this up a little bit because we need to head more to the right than the left. So we'll just head a little bit more to the right side. And yeah, it's a good place to be. But on my Discord server, I recently took a few screenshots of my new, of my Spitfire in version 5.1 with back to chrome. Yes. And also the T6 Texan, which I don't like flying. Believe it or not, I hate flying. It's a bit slow. I used to like it, but then it's a bit slow. I prefer a little bit faster plane than the T6. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing add-on from A2A, amazing, but it's a bit slow. Yeah. I think what happened was I got it and I flew it too much, and then I just got a bit bored. And then when the Comanche came out, I think the only A2A plane that I've not kind of got a bit fed up of is the Comanche. Even when the Bonanza came out, I got fed up with the Bonanza because it's a bit twitchy. Like, it's got dodgy rudder control because of the detail. It is true to life, but that would be more of a reason that I wouldn't want to go and buy Bonanza in real life. I'd rather go and get a Comanche and have the comfort. The 172 is really good, but that, once again, that's a bit slow. The Connie isn't a GA or a warbird, so the Connie is in a league of its own in terms of, you know, classic airliners, you know, which is completely different. Oh, we've got to descend, boys. I've completely forgot to descend here. Right, so we need to go to the old checker list, descend 2000 RPM and 20 manifold, apparently. So 20 RPM, so we just drop that down a bit, and then 20 manifold, and then drop it down 5,500 feet a minute. Whoops, a bit too much there. This might take a little bit of going, but there we go. We'll just do. There we go. Look at that. As my sim crashed. That was so stable. I felt like my sim had crashed. But now what we'll do is we'll descend down to about 10,000 feet, and then we'll flick the old. What does the cabin one do? Is that cabin as in the back? Anyway, we'll keep these lights on. We'll descend at 500 feet per minute.
Pressurization is set.
Maybe a little bit more, maybe 600. That'll do us. So now we're on our descent. Now I've never landed at this airport. I don't even know what it looks like. It's a default airport. It's not got any add-ons at the moment. There's no lights in there though, is there? Oh, look at that. Ho-ho! Beautiful. I need to fly the Constellation more though. I really do. It's one of the planes that I've bought a long time ago, obviously when it first came out. And I've actually got all of the A2A planes apart from one. Who can guess what the one plane that I haven't got is? Oh no, sorry, two planes, and I haven't got it. I haven't got them in. See if you can guess which planes I haven't got. I've got the Cub. I have the Cub. You might be surprised actually. You might be very surprised. I think Ian will get it straight away. Because Ian's like constantly on my. No, I had the B377 on the FSX. Ian. Oh my God! Not only did you get one, but you got two. You got both of them. You got both of them, man. So yeah, that is very true. I do not have the 182 and the P51, and a lot of people will shoot me down for not having the P51. But I got the Spitfire, and I was like, I'm happy with the Spitfire. I'm gonna stick with the Spitfire. We're good. And I must admit, I was talking to Lewis and Rob I think a few weeks back actually, and I was like, I was actually tempted to get the P51, and then I was like, do I get the warplane one, or do I get the the general aviation? You know, like it's still Warbird, but you know what the I can't remember what the variation's called, but you know what I'm on about. And I didn't know which one to get. And then I was like, do I get it? I've got the Spitfire, and I like the Spitfire. The Civvy, that's it, the Civvy. And cheers, Ian. I'm tired and I've been drinking, but yeah. So yeah, so it's just like, I got the Spitfire, so I was like, I'm happy with the Spitfire, I like that. If I want to go up in a Warbird, the Spitfire's there, you know. But yeah. Now the only other one was the 182. Now I didn't get the 182 because it was too similar to the 172. Yeah, it's got a prop lever and you know it's all that, but really it's not that much faster than the 172, as far as I know. The problem is with the 182 is I fell in love with the Comanche, and I thought, well, if I'm going to have that kind of plane, then it'll be the, you know, I'm more than happy with the Comanche, so I stuck with that. Right, so we need to just start heading out more to the left. I can't remember what way is left. Is that left? Yeah, that's left. So don't get me wrong, I mean they're both brilliant planes. You know, they're from A2A, so you expect nothing less. But I don't know. I've got the free P40 because that was another one where I thought, shall I get it or shall I not? When it became free, I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose, obviously. But all the Warbirds, since I got the Spitfire, I was like, I don't really want. I I don't really want the other warbirds. Thanks for pointing that out, Ian. Cheers. Thanks for that. I got my beer in my right hand. It looks like it's left on the screen, but it's actually my right hand. It's really weird when you look at the webcam and it's kind of reversed. It's weird. But yeah, there you go. Now we're kind of going over the. We should be going over the water now, I believe. Let's just have a little double check. Yeah, we're going well over the water. So this is us going over the channel. So we are doing an airspeed of 200 knots. And we're okay. We're okay. So currently 6,500 feet, 86 nautical miles to go. So if we do the usual GA rule of thumb of 3, which doesn't necessarily always work with the big airliners because they go faster. Likewise with the Connie, it goes a little bit faster than a GA, so you kind of got to add on a little bit more. So if you do a rule of 3, so let's say we wanted to go down 3,000 feet, you times it by 3, right? 369. So that's 9 nautical miles to get down to 3,000 feet. That's what you would do in a GA, but because we're doing 200 knots, it's a little bit more than that. Now my descent calculator on my website actually does it based on the speed that you're doing, so the ground speed, and it kind of does like a nice big triangle and all that. It does all the maths behind the scenes. But you can still work it out and you can just add on a bit more. So if it's 9, you could say, oh, it's going to take me about 15, right? Or 12, more than likely. So, you know, we're oh, actually, hey boys, I'm a fool. We're at 15,500 feet, not 5,500 feet. What a dumbass. If you look out the window, we're above the clouds. That's great. So actually, let's just say we're doing 15,000 feet down to 3. That's 12,000. 12 times 3, 12, 24, 36. Approximately 36. But then you want to add a little bit more, so say 40, 45-ish. We're going to have plenty of time to
Ladies
get
and
there.
gentlemen, hello from the flight deck again. We've begun our descent. The stewardesses will be around to tidy up the cabin.
The stewardesses are going to come round to tidy up the cabin. Yes, they are. I love this plane. And you know, every time I every time I fly, I'd say play, how weird is that? Every time I fly this plane, I say to myself, wow, I love it. Wow, I'm loving it. Like, I really enjoy it. All that, but then when I go onto it again and I go, what should I fly on my next stream? So I'll take the Comanche out, or I'll take the Spitfire out, or whatever, and I don't actually you're on one today, Ian. I'm gonna ban you. I'm gonna ban the ban hammer's coming out. No, but it's been a long day and I've been drinking, so winning. Yeah, I should fly this more. The thing is with this is tonight, I mean, I've been flying about an hour and a half, but because I have to start the stream, you've obviously got to start the plane up. You do a bit of explanation. You load the passengers. You start the engines. You let the engines warm up. Then you got a bit of taxi time. You know, it all adds up. And what would have started out as, say, a 1 hour, 1.5 hour flight, you know, you're talking 2 hours by the time we've finished messing around. So you know, like I have to kind of keep the flight short because I like to be done by about 10 o'clock-ish. Because I start at 7:30, it means you can't really go that far. I mean, once upon a time, my wife went out I think she stopped out and she took my son. So I literally had as long as I wanted to the point she went out. And I once flew from, I think it was somewhere in the UK. I think it probably was East Midlands. I think it might have been Birmingham, but I can't remember. And I flew from England all the way to Innsbruck, and it took hours, but like I really enjoyed it, and that was one of the things that I did on this plane. And I, you know, as I said, I did really enjoy it. But what approach and arrival are you planning? I'm going to do a VFR approach. I'm going to do a downwind and then a turning, because we're just going to go direct, and then when we got the airfield in sight, we've got a clear day, we can do a VFR in this beast. We can. I know that's not what you want to hear, Ian, because you know me, I'm a GA pilot. I don't want to do all the IFR stuff. You know, I don't want to get involved. And I have done in the past. I wanted to do it in the past, but in a plane that I kind of know, so like a Comanche or whatever, and just take it and learn it that way. But no, tonight I'm definitely just gonna go in. I can't even tell without trying to find the frequencies for that airfield what the ATIS is. So otherwise I could tune it. I mean, I could do actually wait there. I haven't got real world weather, so that doesn't make any difference. I can't search the internet for the meta because I haven't got the real world weather. Now we're going through some clouds, so we might get a bit of turbulence. If we start getting turbulence, I'm going to flick the old passenger stuff on. But for now, we're kind of okay. It's nice and stable. But yeah, I'm just on a chilled flight tonight. I think I'd love to learn IFR VATSIM. I really would. I'd love to be able to do VATSIM IFR, especially in the Connie. That just nuts. But I've done VFR, but you know, like, but the thing is, it's quite limited, and I don't keep up my subscription with Navigraph or anything like that. So it makes it more difficult if you don't have the latest like downloads and stuff. So yeah. I'm just happy that we're flying the Connie. Oh, he's moved the bloody blowers to the low blowers. So we'll just increase the manifold pressure a little bit. I do love this plane, I really do. So we're currently, I think, at 12,000, just gone past 12,000 feet. I do love this plane. It's nice. Still over the water though. Still over the water. Up. All my incense has gone. Doesn't really smell that well either. Wasn't a strong one, that one. I've got all the same, but if you want to know what I use, it's quite cool. I quite like it. It is this one. Can you see? Oh. It's called White Musk, and it's by. It's called. Oh, you can't see that because of the light. But I'll just read it out. Stamford White Musk, and I've got boxes of the stuff because I love it. I think I might have just knocked my manifold pressure. Not quite. But yeah, I love it. I love it when it's on, when I've got the stream on, and just stick a bit of incense on. This is where Lewis will be like, oh, incense, oh, trolling, as he normally does. I'm surprised he's not on actually. He's normally, he normally does join. He does normally join. Right, let's have a look where we need to head more to the right. So let's head more to the right. Now, I'm just so glad that I've not had a crash. So what I've found with P3D version 5 is I never used to get it with version 4, but version 5 I used to get, I've had it several times where the GPU crashes, and it doesn't happen when I'm not streaming. It's almost like when I'm streaming I use the GPU to encode the stream, and it can just push it over the edge, I think. I don't know what it's doing really, but and it causes it to crash. And what I've done is I've changed it in the NVIDIA control panel for P3D to actually turn off the threaded optimization and turn that off, and not having it on auto. And touch wood, touch my head, but touch wood, that is actually, it's actually, I've done a couple of flights now where it's not actually crashed. We're not on approach, we're miles away. We're like 40 miles away, which is 10 minutes away, but we're 40 miles away. So we're just coming down to 10,000 feet now. Which is interesting, because if you want to go down to, say, 3,000 feet, that was 714.21. So we should have plenty of time there. So we've gone down to 10,000 feet. Those light now can go on. We're not going to do the retractable lights because you're not meant to put them on until your speed is lower than a certain amount. And I don't know what that certain amount is, but I reckon when we start going on down to the 140s, 120 marks, that's when we can start doing the lights and stuff. So we've not hit any turbulence just yet, so I'm kind of refusing to put the passenger seatbelt signs on at the moment. How's the engineer doing? So he's keeping the engines lovely and cool. Nice. So, unfortunately, famous last words, we didn't have any issues. And then just before we come into 10 minutes away, we was literally 10 minutes away, and it crashed. It freaking crashed. My whole computer just died. So, unfortunately, that's the end of the stream. Good news is I was done way before before 10 o'clock. Unfortunately, that's just the way the life crumbles and goes. I have been tempted to put version 4 back on just for the stability. I never got this with version 4, but version 5 performs a lot better, looks a lot better. It's just so frustrating, and I'm kind of looking forward to when A2A release a flight simulation for A2A release a plane for the FS 2020, just so that I can kind of move over into FS 2020 and do some tours or whatever. I don't know, but I kind of want to move away from version 5. I'm gutted because I absolutely love the A2A planes, and I do like P3D, I really do, but they really didn't do a lot of fixing for me, in my opinion. They did a couple of things, but they didn't do a lot of fixing. So I'm very gutted, and I'm sorry to say that is it. I'm really gutted that the computer just crashed. I'm really gutted. I've really wanted to do a good landing, and I'm not being funny, but you know when you've got career mode on, and you've just done a flight for freaking 1.5 hours, almost 2 hours, and all you have to do is land and shut the engines down. Absolutely winning, but no, didn't want me to do that, did it? So yeah, so it's very frustrating. But I'm gonna call it a night, I think, for that one. But Ian, Joas, who else? Oh, Ian, Joas. Who's the other guy? There was a new guy. There was a new guy. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. There we go. Lance Missile. So Ian, Joas, Lance Missile. Thanks for joining. Thanks for following me. Thanks for putting up with the crap that I tend to talk about, and also the lovely stream crashing action that we seem to get. But yeah, it's very frustrating. It's frustrating for you, but it's frustrating for me because I'm just like, no. Yeah, until next week, Ian. I think I've just got to put up with it. You know, unless I bite the bullet and just install version 4, but I don't want to do that. I think next time maybe I'll do another Connie flight, but we won't go as far. We'll just go, maybe just do a shorter flight. So we'll go maybe Dublin to Cardiff, and then if we finish on time, we could do Cardiff to, I don't know, East Midlands or somewhere. You know, like we can do like short hops in the Connie instead. You know, that might be an option. The other thing I want to say is I'm going to have to look at when my next flight's due for Fly UK, because I might have to do another leg of the tour, and if that happens, then it'll be the FS 2020, and we'll check out the 172 again. But if it's not due, then I'll probably take out the Connie again just for the fun of it, because I haven't given it enough love, and definitely haven't landed the career mode enough. So yeah, we need to do that. But yeah, so I'm sorry about that, guys. And as I say, you can't help your PC crashing. So it's either the sim crashes, the PC crashes, or my controllers are not set up properly. It is what it is. Expect some screenshots that I did take to be on Discord later. Appreciate the follows and everything. So cheers. Take care all, and stay safe out there with the COVID. And I'll see you next week. See you, Lance. Take care, mate. I'll have a look at that book as well. And I'll let you know. If you join my Discord, I'll let you know what I think. But or catch me next week and remind me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Cheers all. Take care. See you later.